Good morning, YouTubers. Look at this fine day we're having here in Manitoba, Canada. It's officially winter. Lovely. So this means it's time to hibernate inside the shop where it's nice and warm and get busy on my projects. We're gonna get to that in a second. Let's go inside, it's cold out. Brr, chilled right to the bone. All right, this is the lineup for this winter inside the man house here. This is a little project that I've been hiding from you. I've had it for damn near 10 years now. I pretty much got this car free with the trading thing. But I had to have it. This one is pretty darn cool, and this one is not going anywhere. This is gonna stay in my possession till I die. And I'm dedicating this project to ZZ Top for getting me into cars and girls and awesome music. So I've always liked that car, the Eliminator they had in their videos. It's just like, wow, when I was a little kid, just wow. So I had to have a car similar to that. And I didn't like their car because it was like a two-seater. So I hunted one out, a sedan. I found myself a sedan. So at least I can have a back seat and some storage. So I've been puttering away on it for pretty much the 10 years that I've owned it, but just sporadically. Like this car, I bet you I could have got it running and driving when I first picked it up. I could still turn it over by hand with the crank. It still had the seats, it had antifreeze in it, it had oil in it. I bet you I could have got it running and driving. But I want a hot rod. I want to be cool like ZZ Top was when I first got it. So I've been taking my time and I've been getting the parts relatively cheap for this car. If you wait, you'll find them. They'll fall from the sky, the parts that you need. So this car here, I've already mocked it up for an LS engine. I'll put a picture of it with an LS motor in here. It fits perfectly. I put a Mustang 2 crossmember in it from literally a Mustang 2. My buddy Keith, I went to visit him one day and he goes, "Oh, look, a Mustang 2. And it was like on the roof of a car that he had there. So I'm like, "What are you doing with that?" He goes, "I'm probably going to shred it." I'll take that. And you know what? It fits so good. I put it in one night. It just fits like it was meant to be. So that was free. Nothing wrong with that. And look at this grill on this car. It's absolutely straight. There's no dents, no chips. It's an awesome shape. Love it. That's the jewel right there. And the lights. I got all of the lights for it. It has 2 bullet holes in it, but I'm glad they got the glass and not the body anywhere. So, glass is nothing. And it's relatively straight, this car. There's a little bit of damage here. Oh yeah, the roof. Look at the roof. Instead of having that big gaping hole there, I took the roof skin off of a Jeep Cherokee and put it on that I got for $100. That's okay. I like that. And again, that was probably a day's work. And then I put a Corvette C3 rear diff in it, independent. Pretty sweet. It fits in there beautifully. I put a Jag one in there in the first time, and it was too wide. I would have had to shorten the axles. I would have had to shorten the control arms. And to be honest, the parts were crazy expensive for Jaguar Wrens. So I'm like, this one came into play. And so I bought it and I put it in. and it's just beautiful. It fits like the factory one does. It's in perfect gaps, no shortening anything. It just took me a day to fabricate these brackets for the ears. And again, I used steel, but it fits really good. When I gotta take this floor out. I gotta do some trimming. You can see my line there. I gotta do some trimming. And I made this floor yesterday. Yesterday I made this floor, and I also did the frame underneath this floor. So I did that yesterday as well. So yesterday was an extremely productive day. Extremely. I'm gonna peel all this off because I gotta trim this, and I gotta prep the floor underneath with weld through primers and rust protectant inside of the steel tubes that I put in. And you'll see the steel tubes here once I take all this off. But yeah, I did a pretty sweet job. I still gotta put a little kick up there in the back. I gotta make that, but I can do that after. And as you can see, I did it in 4 pieces. I had to do it that way because my brake is only 24 inches wide. So I would have loved to have done it all at once, but hey, it took me longer, but it's done. It's done. It's another huge step forward. And I got to do my little tunnel there. So I'm going to put a transmission in here just to make sure that my floor is correct and build around it. So we're going to go to the tail panel. I did some work on this already. It had big holes, 2 holes there, one for the bumper come through and the gas filler. And this one here had a hole for the bumper as well. So I filled in those, and it was tore, it was beat up. So I put it on the English wheel. The boy helped me, and we ran it through the English wheel, and we got it as straight as we possibly could. There's still a few dents and dings in it that I'm gonna have to massage later on, but I can live with this. A new one, I could buy a new piece, but it was astronomical. It was like, by the time I got it here to Canada, it was like $600 for just the part, plus the shipping. And that's not a small part. That piece, I bet you, is about 3 feet. So the shipping would probably have been more than the part. So I'm just spent the day and hammered the dents out and welded and did what I had to do. And I also Frenched in the license plate. So made that little piece and stuck it in there. I'm gonna put the tail lights in there as well, like strips. And yeah, that's where we stand today. So I'm kind of giving her on this thing. I got 2 more days left of my holidays. So I'm gonna give her on this thing for the next couple days. And pretty much off and on throughout the winter. Like, I only have 3 vehicles in the shop this winter, in this shop, but I still have my body shop where I have 2. So I'll be back and forth working on this and that. And I have the bus here. The bus is inside. So over the winter, this thing is going to become a cab-over motorhome. It's in one of my other videos, so you can catch that one and what the plans are with this one. So that's inside now. So I'm gonna start doing the face-off thing and putting the cab-over face on there. So I'll be making videos of that as I go as well. And I also have the Nova inside. I have to get this one finished. This one's a must to get done. There's just a few little things, but I've just been putting it off and squirreling off to other vehicles. So this is a must. This is going to get done for sure this winter. It's a 68 big block, 4-speed, posi in the rear, bucket seats. There's a video of it running, so if you go back into my uploads, it's there. Yeah, pretty sweet deal there too. And I also pretty much built a Chevy too in the last 5 weeks. So I'll get to that one too. I'll get to that one. I put it away in storage already because I'm having a hard time finding front fenders for that one. So I'll make a video on that one as well next time it comes inside the shop. I put it so it's not too far. I can still bring it in if I have to over the winter. So that's how it is. So today I'm gonna rip up this floor. And I'm gonna show you the ribs that I've put in here yesterday. It looks fabulous and strong. It's gonna give this car so much more strength. And yeah, it's pretty damn cool. I'm proud of it. So I'm gonna rip this up and then I'm gonna show you the ribs that I made yesterday. All right, hold on, I'll be back. All right, I'm back again. So I got the floor out, ready to be trimmed. I'm just gonna buzz it off with my plasma, clean it up with the grinder, and she's good to go. And everyone's wondering why I am not putting dimples in it or using my bead roller and putting some design in there. Well, that was the initial plan, to do it that way. But when I went to pick up my steel, I ordered it. They go, pull around back, we'll load you up. They load me up. I come home and realize they loaded me up with 16 gauge steel. Well, shit. Not impressed. Not impressed, guys. So it's more than strong enough the way it is. So, and I'm not even sure if my bead roller will be able to bead roll this. But, oh well, life goes on. Carpet covers it anyways. So, here is the structure I put in there. I built this yesterday morning. One day I did that and the floor. It was a good day. I call that a win. So there's a better view of the diff in there. Corvette C3. Yeah, all I had to do was trim that cross member there that comes with the Corvette. I had to knock out about 2 inches, 1 inch on each side. And then it bolted right in. Pretty sweet deal. And it's Chevrolet, not a Jaguar. I can get parts anywhere. And they're cheap. So yeah, there is the frame. Pretty sweet. This thing was full of wood, this car. Look, door panels are still wood. From what I'm told, the parts that came in to GM for the cars and trucks, they used the wood from the pallets in the vehicles. All inside was wood. This car was wood. It was a scary, scary situation. See this 2x4 steel tube here on that goes front to back? Believe it or not, that was a 2x4 wood in there. And the rockers were held on with finishing nails. The body was held on to that with little wee tiny nails into this. It was just all wood. The floor was like 3/4 plywood. There was wood all inside there. And it was held in with like carriage bolts to the frame through the wood. Scary. And the seats, the bottoms of the seats, this thing actually had bucket seats and a floor shift, which is pretty cool. It had a 6-cylinder with a standard transmission on the floor. So it was, I guess this was like a Corvette back in the day. So yeah, the bottoms of the seats were right to the floor, the wood floor, and it was a 3/4 plywood, the seat was, and then the backs of the seats were pretty cool. They had, it was actually metal, the backs of the seat, and it had dimple dyed holes in it. I took those seats to the swap meet and it sold in like 5 minutes as soon as I put them out. They were just so cool, but they're just not for me. This one's gonna be a street rod. It's gonna have paint. It's gonna be an LS fuel injected motor in here. I wanna drive this car. But yeah, look at that. Pretty darn cool. So I'm gonna go cut that piece of steel over there and I'm gonna prep this. I'm gonna clean it all up and I'm gonna prep it and I'm gonna put some weld through primer on it This is the stuff that I've chosen. Duplicolor. It's got some zinc in it. As you can see, I've put it over there already. It's a brutal, ugly color. It's terrible. But whatever, it's covered and it's going to be painted anyways. So, but this is the Weld primer and it works really, really well. So this is what I'm going to use. And I'm also going to drill some holes in each one of these tubes. And I'm going to put some oil in there so they don't rust from the inside out as well. But pretty darn cool. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a super heavy coat on. And then I'm going to put the steel back in really quick. So while it's still wet, so it gets on the steel as well, the sheeting. So I'm going to put it on there super heavy, almost to the point where it runs. So it'll cover that and it'll cover this. That's my plan. So, and then I'm going to fabricate my tunnel once it's all in and everything, and that back lip, which shouldn't be a big deal. If I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm going to stick a transmission here. Just stick it in here just to make sure that 100% that I get this correctly. So I won't have to cut it all up again and redo it. I'm going to stick a tranny in there and I'm going to build around it. All right? All right. Peace out. That's the update. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to make a couple more videos of this build as well throughout the winter. I'm going to do these doors. That's terrible. That is awful. So I'm going to make some nice steel in there. And of course, these are going to be power. So I'm going to get rid of all that 30s garbage. Throw it out. And the backs too were going to be power as well. And I have a shout out today. I have a shout out. Dave from Sobering stopped in yesterday. He stopped in and he gave me a t-shirt. Thank you, guys. Love it. Yeah, he came here and he checked out all my junk, and that's what car guys do. All right. Thanks for subscribing, and please check out the rest of my videos. Peace out.